The day started like any other on Earth, but by evening, everything had changed. People were going about their usual routines, children playing in parks, workers commuting home, and families sharing dinner, when the sky lit up with an eerie glow. A massive spaceship descended from orbit, its metallic surface shimmering like liquid silver under the sun. It wasn't just big, it was enormous, dwarfing even the tallest skyscrapers. The ship hovered silently above the planet, casting a shadow that stretched across continents. News outlets scrambled to cover the event, broadcasting live footage as governments around the world held emergency meetings. Within hours, a message transmitted from the ship reached every communication device on Earth. The voice was calm and clear, speaking perfect English. "We are the Galactic Council," it said. "We have observed your species' progress and wish to extend an invitation for diplomatic talks." For many, this moment felt surreal. Humanity had dreamed of meeting alien life for centuries, but now that it was happening, people weren't sure how to feel. Some cheered at the idea of joining a galactic community, imagining advanced technology and cures for diseases. Others panicked, fearing invasion or enslavement. Social media exploded with theories, memes, and debates. Conspiracy theorists claimed the government already knew about aliens and had kept it secret. Religious leaders called for prayer and reflection. Amidst all the noise, one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same again. President William Hayes stood before the cameras later that evening, addressing billions of viewers worldwide. He announced that Ambassador Laura Bennett would lead humanity's delegation to meet the council. Standing beside him, Laura looked composed despite the weight of her new role. Her dark hair was tied neatly back, and her sharp eyes conveyed both determination and caution. "This is a historic opportunity," she said firmly. "We will approach these talks with openness, but also with vigilance." Behind the scenes, preparations moved quickly. Laura assembled a team of experts to accompany her aboard the alien vessel. Among them was Dr. Ryan Carter, a brilliant astrophysicist known for his groundbreaking research on wormholes. His quiet demeanor masked a fierce intellect. Commander Sarah Mitchell, head of security, brought military expertise and a no-nonsense attitude. Rounding out the group was Ethan Cole, a seasoned journalist tasked with documenting the mission. Though he often clashed with authority, his insightful reporting made him invaluable. As the team boarded a shuttle to rendezvous with the Council's ship, tensions ran high. None of them knew what to expect. When they approached the alien craft, they marveled at its sheer size. Up close, the surface seemed alive, shifting subtly like waves on water. A beam of light enveloped the shuttle, pulling it inside without resistance. Once aboard, the humans stepped into a vast chamber filled with strange sights and sounds. Alien beings of various shapes and sizes moved gracefully through the space, some floating, others walking on multiple limbs. The council representatives greeted them warmly, though their expressions were unreadable due to their unfamiliar features. One figure stood out, a towering insectoid creature named Psyloth, who introduced itself as the council chair. Its voice resonated deeply, sending shivers down their spines. "Welcome," it said. "You stand on the brink of greatness. Let us begin." Despite the grandeur of their surroundings, unease lingered among the humans. They couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. As negotiations began, Laura listened intently, searching for hidden meanings in the council's words. Little did she know, the decisions made in the coming days would shape not only her life but the future of all humanity. The humans followed their alien hosts through the labyrinthine corridors of Asterisk, the celestial Concord Asterisk. The walls shimmered faintly, as if alive, and soft hums filled the air. Dr. Ryan Carter couldn't help but stare at the strange creatures they passed. Some floated silently, others walked on multiple legs, and a few seemed to glide without touching the ground at all. Each species looked more alien than the last, and yet they moved with purpose, clearly accustomed to this massive ship. Ambassador Laura Bennett kept her expression calm, though her mind raced. She knew the stakes were high. This wasn't just about Earth's survival, it was about humanity's place in the universe. Behind her, Commander Sarah Mitchell scanned the area cautiously, her hand resting near her sidearm. Ethan Cole, the journalist, scribbled notes furiously while trying not to gawk too obviously. None of them wanted to appear weak or unprepared. They finally entered a grand chamber where the council representatives awaited them. At the center stood Xyloth, the towering insectoid leader, flanked by several other beings who seemed to serve as advisors. The room itself was awe-inspiring, with glowing patterns that shifted across the ceiling like constellations. A circular table dominated the space, surrounded by chairs designed for various body types. For the humans, there were standard seats, though they felt oddly cold to the touch. Xyloth greeted them again, its deep voice echoing through the chamber. "We are pleased you have come," it said. "Your species shows great potential." Laura nodded politely, offering a small smile. "Thank you for inviting us," she replied. "We look forward to learning more about your council and sharing our own values." As the meeting began, the council wasted no time diving into details. They explained their history briefly, how they had united countless civilizations under one banner, fostering peace and progress across the galaxy. But when they started outlining what membership would entail, the humans exchanged uneasy glances. The council expected Earth to share its resources freely: minerals, energy, even genetic material. In return, humanity would receive advanced technology and protection from hostile forces. Dr. Carter leaned forward, frowning slightly. "What kind of protection?" he asked. One of the council members, a gelatinous being with glowing eyes, answered. "There are threats beyond your understanding," it said. "Pirates, rogue AI, ancient enemies. Without us, you would be vulnerable." Commander Mitchell raised an eyebrow. "And what happens if we decline?" she asked bluntly. The question hung in the air, heavy and direct. Xyloth paused before responding. "Declining is unwise," it said slowly. "Isolation can lead to stagnation, or worse." Laura cleared her throat, steering the conversation back to safer ground. "Let's focus on mutual benefits," she suggested. "Surely there's a way for both sides to gain without imposing undue burdens." Her tone was diplomatic, but firm. The council members exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. Later, during a break, the human delegation gathered in a private corner of the chamber. "This feels off," Sarah muttered, crossing her arms. "They're not giving us much choice here." Ryan nodded in agreement. "I've been analyzing the data they provided," he said quietly. "It's incomplete. There are gaps, like they're hiding something." Ethan chimed in, his pen tapping against his notebook. "People back home need to know this isn't as simple as it seems," he said. "If we accept blindly, we could lose control of our own planet." Laura sighed, rubbing her temples. "We can't jump to conclusions," she said. "But we also can't ignore these red flags. We'll proceed carefully and make sure Earth has a say in whatever decision we reach." As they returned to the table, the council resumed their pitch, emphasizing the wonders humanity could achieve under their guidance. Yet beneath their polished words, the humans sensed pressure building. It was becoming clear. The council didn't expect resistance, and that realization only strengthened their resolve to tread carefully. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain: they couldn't afford to make a mistake. Back on Earth, the weight of the council's proposal began to sink in. News outlets buzzed with updates from Asterisk, the celestial Concord Asterisk, and people around the world debated what humanity should do. Some argued that joining the council was a golden opportunity, an instant leap forward in technology and medicine. Others saw it as a trap, fearing the council's demands would strip Earth of its resources and independence. President William Hayes called an emergency meeting at the United Nations headquarters in New York City. Leaders from every corner of the globe gathered in a large conference room, their faces reflecting a mix of excitement, fear, and uncertainty. At the center of the table sat Ambassador Laura Bennett, who had just returned from the alien ship to deliver her report. Her voice was steady as she spoke, but her hands gripped the edges of her notes tightly. "The Council is offering us access to advanced technology," Laura explained. "But there are conditions. They want unrestricted mining rights on our moons, full access to monitor human activity, and mandatory conscription into their military forces. Essentially, they're asking for control over parts of our planet and beyond." The room erupted into murmurs. European leaders leaned toward acceptance, pointing out the benefits of aligning with such a powerful alliance. One German official stood up, saying, "We can't ignore this chance. Think of the cures we could discover, the energy sources we could harness." But African and South American representatives shook their heads firmly. A Brazilian ambassador spoke up, his tone sharp. "This sounds like exploitation. Haven't we been through enough colonialism? Now we're supposed to hand over our future to aliens." Dr. Ryan Carter joined the discussion via video call, sharing his findings with the group. He described how the Council's data seemed incomplete, almost deliberately misleading. "They've cataloged Earth's resources down to the smallest detail," he said. "It's like they already see us as theirs. This isn't partnership. It's acquisition." As tensions rose, Ethan Cole published an explosive article exposing darker truths about the Council. Using leaked documents and interviews with former delegates from other civilizations, he revealed that several member species had been coerced into joining under threat of destruction. His story spread like wildfire, swaying public opinion against the Council. Protests erupted in major cities, with crowds chanting slogans like "Earth for Earthlings" and "No to alien rule." Despite the growing backlash, President Hayes knew the decision couldn't be made lightly. He turned to Commander Sarah Mitchell, who had spent hours analyzing the Council's fleet movements. She reported seeing unusual activity near Earth's Lagrange points, areas where objects could remain stable in space. "They're positioning ships strategically," she warned. "If we refuse, they might not take no for an answer." Laura listened intently, her mind racing. She understood the risks of rejecting the Council, but also recognized the dangers of compliance. Humanity couldn't afford to lose its freedom or its dignity. As the meeting dragged on, she found herself thinking about Rachel Dawson, a young environmental activist she'd met briefly before leaving for the alien ship. Rachel had spoken passionately about protecting Earth's ecosystems, warning that handing over control to outsiders could devastate the planet. By the end of the day, President Hayes adjourned the session without reaching a final decision. Exhausted, Laura walked outside, where reporters shouted questions at her. She ignored them, staring instead at the night sky. Somewhere up there, the celestial Concord asterisk loomed, waiting for humanity's response. The pressure was immense, but one thought kept her grounded. Whatever choice they made, it had to reflect who they were, not just as individuals, but as a species. For better or worse, humanity's fate now rested in their hands. The days following the United Nations meeting were chaotic. People around the world argued fiercely about whether to accept the Council's offer. On social media, hashtags like #StandWithEarth and #JoinTheGalaxy trended side by side. News channels broadcast endless debates, with experts weighing in on both sides. Some claimed humanity would be foolish to turn down such an opportunity, while others warned that giving in to the Council's demands would mean losing control of Earth forever. President William Hayes felt the pressure mounting. He spent long hours in meetings with advisors, trying to weigh the pros and cons. At one point, he called Ambassador Laura Bennett into his office late at night. The room was dimly lit, and stacks of papers covered the desk. "What do you think?" he asked her bluntly. "If we say no, are we ready for the consequences?" Laura hesitated before answering. She had replayed the Council's words in her mind countless times, searching for hidden meanings. "I don't trust them," she admitted. "But saying no isn't just about distrust. It's about standing up for who we are. If we give in now, we'll never get our independence back." Hayes nodded slowly, his face lined with worry. "And if they retaliate, what then?" Before Laura could respond, Dr. Ryan Carter entered the room, carrying a tablet filled with new data. His expression was grim. "We've detected more ships moving toward Earth's orbit," he said. "It looks like they're preparing for enforcement. If we reject their terms, they might not leave peacefully." Commander Sarah Mitchell joined the conversation via video call, her military background evident in her direct tone. "We can defend ourselves, at least for a while," she said, "but we need time to prepare. If we decide to refuse, we have to act fast." As the three of them discussed strategy, Ethan Cole's latest article hit the internet. This time, he focused on stories from civilizations that had resisted the Council in the past. One account described how a small planet had managed to survive isolation after refusing membership. Though it struggled economically, its people remained free. Another story highlighted a species that had fought back against the Council and paid a terrible price. Ethan ended his piece with a question: "Is freedom worth the risk?" Public opinion began to shift again. More people rallied behind the idea of rejecting the Council, inspired by the notion of standing together as one planet. Protests grew larger, with millions marching in cities worldwide. Environmental activists like Rachel Dawson emphasized the importance of protecting Earth's resources. "We can't let outsiders take what belongs to us," she told a cheering crowd. "This is our home, and we decide its future." Finally, after days of deliberation, President Hayes made his decision. He gathered his closest advisors and announced that humanity would decline the Council's offer, but not with hostility. Instead, he proposed a counteroffer: peaceful coexistence without subjugation. Earth would trade fairly, share knowledge willingly, and collaborate on scientific projects, but only under terms that respected its sovereignty. When Laura delivered the message to Xyloth aboard Asterisk, the celestial Concord Asterisk, the atmosphere was tense. The insectoid leader listened silently, its glowing eyes fixed on her. When she finished speaking, there was a long pause. Then Xyloth's voice boomed through the chamber. "You misunderstand your position," it said coldly. "Refusal will bring consequences." Laura stood her ground, her voice steady despite the fear bubbling inside her. "We respect your power," she replied, "but we also value our freedom. We hope you'll respect that too." As she left the ship, escorted by Council representatives, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Back on Earth, President Hayes addressed the world, explaining the decision and urging unity. The Council's response was swift. They cut off all communication and imposed sanctions, leaving humanity isolated. Yet amidst the uncertainty, something remarkable happened. For the first time in history, nations put aside old rivalries and worked together. Scientists collaborated on groundbreaking projects, and ordinary people found strength in community. Humanity faced an uncertain future, but it did so with courage and hope. The weeks after humanity's rejection of the Galactic Council were difficult. Earth felt the weight of its decision immediately. Trade routes with other planets, routes that had never existed but were promised by the Council, vanished before they even began. The sanctions imposed by the Council cut off access to advanced technology and left Earth isolated in the vastness of space. Economies struggled, food prices rose, and protests erupted in cities around the globe. People grew restless, unsure if their leaders had made the right choice. But amidst the chaos, something unexpected happened. Humanity came together. Nations that had once been divided by politics, religion, and history now worked side by side to survive. Scientists collaborated like never before, pooling resources and knowledge to solve problems without relying on alien help. Engineers focused on renewable energy sources, determined to make Earth self-sufficient. Farmers shared seeds and techniques across borders to ensure no one went hungry. Even ordinary citizens pitched in, organizing community gardens and local projects to support each other. Dr. Ryan Carter became a key figure in these efforts. Working tirelessly in a lab funded by multiple governments, he led a team trying to develop faster-than-light communication using quantum entanglement. If successful, this technology would allow Earth to reach out to civilizations beyond the Council's control, perhaps finding allies who valued freedom as much as humanity did. Late nights turned into early mornings as Ryan and his team ran experiment after experiment, inching closer to a breakthrough. Commander Sarah Mitchell focused on defense. Knowing the Council might retaliate, she spearheaded efforts to strengthen Earth's military capabilities. Old satellites were repurposed into early warning systems, and new weapons were designed using whatever technology Earth already possessed. Troops trained for scenarios involving extraterrestrial threats, preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. Despite the grim possibilities, Sarah's leadership inspired confidence among her soldiers. "We're not just fighting for ourselves," she told them during a briefing. "We're fighting for our future." Meanwhile, Ethan Cole continued reporting on the crisis, shining a light on both the struggles and triumphs of humanity. His articles highlighted stories of resilience: a small town building wind turbines from scratch, a group of students designing low-cost water purifiers, or a farmer sharing his crop with neighbors in need. These stories gave people hope, reminding them that even in hard times, humanity could rise above. Rachel Dawson also played a crucial role, rallying environmental activists to protect Earth's ecosystems. She argued that rejecting the Council gave humanity a chance to heal the planet rather than exploit it further. Under her guidance, reforestation projects expanded, and polluted rivers began to recover. For the first time in decades, wildlife populations started to grow again. "This is our second chance," Rachel said at a global summit. "Let's make it count." As months passed, life on Earth stabilized. It wasn't easy. People still faced shortages and hardships. But there was a sense of unity that hadn't existed before. Humanity had proven it could adapt and persevere, even when cut off from the rest of the galaxy. Then, one day, a signal arrived. It wasn't from the Council, but from a distant star system. The message was simple: "We see your courage. We wish to speak." It came from a faction of aliens disillusioned with the Council's tyranny. They admired humanity's defiance and wanted to form an alliance based on equality and mutual respect. When President Hayes announced the news, the world listened in stunned silence. Humanity had stood firm against overwhelming odds, and now, it seemed, others in the galaxy were willing to stand with them. As preparations began for this new meeting, people around the globe celebrated. The road ahead would still be challenging, but for the first time in a long while, humanity dared to dream of a brighter future. The signal from the distant star system sparked a mix of excitement and caution. Humanity had rejected the Galactic Council, only to find another group willing to reach out. But who were these aliens? Could they be trusted? President William Hayes gathered his advisors to discuss the next steps. "We can't afford to make assumptions," he said firmly. "But we also can't ignore this opportunity." Ambassador Laura Bennett was chosen to lead the delegation once again. This time, however, the mission felt different. The Council's shadow still loomed over Earth, and trust was in short supply. Laura knew the stakes were high. If this new faction turned out to be hostile, humanity might not survive the encounter. Yet she also understood that isolation wasn't sustainable in the long run. Earth needed allies if it hoped to thrive among the stars. Dr. Ryan Carter joined the team, eager to test his quantum communication device during the journey. If successful, it could revolutionize how humanity interacted with alien species. Commander Sarah Mitchell prepared her security detail meticulously, ensuring every possible threat was accounted for. Ethan Cole tagged along as well, determined to document this historic meeting. The humans traveled aboard one of Earth's newly upgraded ships, a sleek vessel equipped with cutting-edge technology, developed since the Council's rejection. As they approached the coordinates provided in the message, they saw a smaller but impressive alien ship waiting for them. Its surface shimmered with iridescent colors, unlike anything they'd seen before. When the humans boarded the alien craft, they were greeted by a delegation of beings who looked nothing like the Council members. These aliens were shorter, with smooth, translucent skin that glowed faintly. Their leader, a calm and gentle creature named Vera, introduced itself in flawless English. "We have watched your resistance to the Council," Vera said. "It takes great courage to stand against such power." Laura nodded respectfully. "Thank you for reaching out," she replied. "We seek peaceful coexistence, not domination." Vera explained that its people belonged to a rogue faction called the Free Stars Alliance. They had broken away from the Council centuries ago, rejecting its oppressive practices. Now, they traveled the galaxy, helping weaker civilizations resist exploitation. "We believe strength lies in unity," Vera continued, "and we see potential in your species." Over the next few days, the two groups exchanged information. The Free Stars shared knowledge about sustainable energy sources and medical advancements, while the humans offered insights into their culture and history. Dr. Carter demonstrated his quantum communication prototype, impressing the aliens with its ingenuity. "You are resourceful," Vera remarked. "Perhaps together, we can create something greater than either of us alone." Commander Mitchell remained cautious throughout the talks, keeping a close eye on the aliens' movements. Despite their friendly demeanor, she couldn't shake the feeling that appearances could be deceiving. Still, there was no sign of hostility, and the discussions proceeded smoothly. By the end of the meeting, an agreement was reached. The Free Stars promised to provide limited assistance, technology, resources, and guidance to help Earth rebuild and defend itself. In return, humanity would share its unique perspectives and innovations. It wasn't a perfect deal, but it was fair. As the humans returned home, hope began to spread across the planet. News of the alliance with the Free Stars gave people a renewed sense of purpose. Protests died down, replaced by celebrations. For the first time in months, laughter echoed through streets, once filled with tension. President Hayes addressed the world, emphasizing the importance of staying vigilant. "This is just the beginning," he said. "Our journey will be difficult, but we've proven we can face challenges together. We'll build a future where humanity stands tall, not as subjects of a galactic empire, but as equals among the stars." Though uncertainty lingered, one thing was clear. Humanity had taken its first step toward true independence. And with allies like the Free Stars, the path ahead seemed a little less daunting. Months turned into years, and humanity's partnership with the Free Stars Alliance began to bear fruit. Earth changed in ways no one could have predicted. Cities transformed, powered by clean energy sources shared by the Free Stars. Factories adopted sustainable practices, reducing pollution and healing the planet. Medical breakthroughs cured diseases that had plagued humanity for generations. Slowly but surely, life improved for billions of people. The Alliance didn't just bring technology, it brought hope. People around the world felt a sense of pride they hadn't known before. Humanity wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. The rejection of the Galactic Council had been a turning point, proving that unity and determination could overcome even the greatest challenges. Dr. Ryan Carter became a household name as his quantum communication device revolutionized how humans interacted with alien civilizations. Messages that once took years to travel across space now arrived instantly, opening doors to new friendships and trade opportunities. Under Ryan's guidance, Earth established contact with dozens of independent species who admire humanity's courage and resilience. These connections formed the foundation of a new galactic network, one built on mutual respect rather than domination. Commander Sarah Mitchell continued to strengthen Earth's defenses, but her role evolved over time. With help from the Free Stars, she oversaw the construction of advanced ships capable of protecting the planet while exploring deep space. These vessels weren't designed for war. They were symbols of peace, carrying diplomats, scientists, and explorers to distant stars. Humanity began venturing beyond its solar system, discovering wonders no one had ever imagined. Ethan Cole chronicled these changes in a series of best-selling books. His stories captured the struggles and triumphs of an entire generation, inspiring future leaders to dream bigger and aim higher. "We're not just a species anymore," he wrote in the final chapter of his last book. "We're part of something greater, a galaxy full of possibilities. Rachel Dawson's environmental campaigns also gained global recognition. Thanks to her efforts, Earth's ecosystems flourished. Forests expanded, oceans teemed with life, and endangered species rebounded. Rachel often spoke about how rejecting the Council gave humanity a chance to rewrite its relationship with nature. "This is our legacy," she told audiences at international conferences. "A healthy planet means a healthy future." As time passed, the shadow of the Galactic Council grew fainter. Though the Council still existed, its influence waned as more civilizations joined the Free Stars Alliance. Humanity's defiance inspired others to resist oppression, sparking movements for independence across the galaxy. The Council's grip on power weakened, unable to adapt to a universe that valued freedom over control. President William Hayes retired after serving 2 terms, leaving office with the gratitude of a grateful world. His successor, a young leader named Maria Alvarez, carried forward his vision of cooperation and innovation. Under her leadership, Earth became a beacon of progress, drawing visitors from all corners of the galaxy. One evening, Laura Bennett stood on a hill overlooking her hometown. The sky was clear, dotted with countless stars. She thought about everything that had happened since the day the Council arrived. Humanity had faced fear, isolation, and uncertainty, but it had emerged stronger than ever. For the first time in history, Earth spoke with one voice, ready to chart its own course among the stars. Laura smiled as she gazed upward. Somewhere out there, new worlds awaited discovery, new friends waited to be made, and new challenges loomed on the horizon. But humanity was ready. Together, they had proven that courage, creativity, and compassion could light the way forward, even in the vast darkness of space. And so, humanity stepped boldly into the cosmos, no longer afraid of what lay ahead.